What's up, guys? I finally finished designing my monitor mount for my desk. And I'm going to be releasing it on Maker World later today. So putting a short video together, well, not short, not going to be short, on how to put it all together and how it works. Now, I did design these poles around the LG Ergo stand. I think the LG Ergo stand is one of the nicest monitor stands. These are LG Ergo monitors, but this stand will work on pretty much any monitor with a VESA mount. And so the way the LG Ergo worked is it was a single pole that comes out of your desk. There was a seat clamp or there's a through desk grommet. I made this around the through desk grommet. So you will have to cut a grommet hole through your desk to use these stands. And it is 60 millimeters. So what is that? Is that 2 3/4 inches? I don't remember. I have a 60 millimeter bore hole, so I just drill those grommet holes in. Now, one of the things you'll notice different about these poles based on any other pole you'll find online and why I designed these poles is I didn't want to have any cables coming out dangling behind my desk like this. So normally what would happen is you would plug in your monitor, the cable would go into the pole, it would go down through the pole and then come out the bottom, and then you'd have to drape the cables behind your desk or have another grommet hole and feed the cables through those holes. I didn't want to do that. I think that's stupid and that's ugly. So I wanted to have a system where you couldn't see any cables on my desk. Well, from the monitor. There's a cable here because that's my Google Nest. Anyways, so the way I designed it is the cables go into the pole, and then the cables go through the pole and out to the bottom of the desk. Honestly, I don't understand why no one makes a version of this for sale, which is why I had to design it and print it myself. So the cable goes through the hole, through the pole, through the hole in the desk, and then comes out the bottom through the grommet hole right here, and this is the retaining nut around it. And it just comes right through the bottom of the desk, and that's where I have all my cables. So you can see I have another monitor another pole right here, and then another one over there. So I have 3 poles, 3 holes. All right, so how do we put it all together? Well, I have a lot of test prints that I've gone through here, various designs. I probably spent close to $300 in material, various designs and things like that. And so here I have a whole bunch of pieces. These are PLA. I'm just using them to show how I put it all together. I would not recommend printing this out of PLA because PLA is not strong, and if you have a heavy monitor, you're gonna have problems. This monitor right here is 9 pounds. PLA actually worked fine, but this is an LG Ultra Wide. This one is an LG Ultra Fine, so it's a lot lighter. But the LG Ultra Wide is 16 pounds, so it's a lot heavier, and the PLA was not enough to keep it upright. The pole would flex. So I made this out of PA6CF, that's nylon carbon fiber. It's extremely strong, but that's the $80 a kilogram, while PLA is $13 a kilogram. All right, so these are the pieces. And the first thing we have here is we have the base. This is the part that goes into your grommet hole. You know what? Nope. I thought maybe that this desk had a grommet hole. All right, so this would go in the grommet hole. And then on the other side would be this. That would be a retaining nut. There's also a TPU, whatever. And this is the base pole. You can see it's got the hole for the cable, and you just screw it in. Screw it all together. And line up the seam, and that'll help you keep it straight. You know, the Z seam you've got right here, and then there's also this Z seam here, and you can just line them up, and then you would glue it because you don't want anything slipping. So I would show it on the other pieces, but they're already glued. And then of course this would go through the grommet hole, and then the retaining nut would be on the other side of the table. So this table would be here. Now, as for the boom arm for the mic, that starts with this piece right here. And then we've got the shoulder piece. Now, this has a M6 12 by 12 by 4 square nut embedded in it. The most recent I designed doesn't require it to be embedded. It just has a slot right here, and you slide the bolt in. And then this would go here. And then there's a retainer for that. Again, glue in the retainer. And this one's a lot more threading involved. And then we take the base pole we made earlier, and this screws right on top of the base pole. And once again, line up the Z-seams when you glue it, and that'll keep it all straight. And then we have that piece right there. Now you may be thinking, okay, so I don't want to spend all the money on PA6 nylon. How can I keep this stronger? Now, I wouldn't do it with PLA. PLA is too weak, but you could try something like ABS. ABS is a lot stronger. I don't think it looks as nice as PLA, and definitely doesn't look as nice as carbon fiber. Maybe ABS carbon fiber would be a good choice. But how would you make it stronger? Well, it's simple. You know, we have a 1.25 inch hole that's 38.4 millimeters running through it where you normally put the cables, but what you can add in there is a 1.25 steel pipe, which I cut down to 18 inches long. And this just slides right in. And now it's a lot heavier, a lot stronger. Now, naturally, you will have to cut out the hole in the pole right there. And then you can feed the cables through the pole. And then you have that. And then, of course, there is the top piece, which is just a cover for the pole to make it all look complete. And there, now we have the pole with the shoulder for the boom arm for the monitor. And then there's the base and the retaining nut that comes on the other side of the desk. Now let's look at the arm pieces. So here you can see I have the arm piece already hooked up. This is connected to a rosette. Do I have an extra rosette piece somewhere around here? I got some prototype pieces, so I can show it on the prototypes. This is PLA, so these rosettes snapped. But there is a pin every 5 degrees, so that rosette will spin at a 5-degree angle simply by unscrewing these to loosen it up. Same thing with these. If you just tighten them, you can loosen and whatnot. You can also tighten this one right here. Now this is a short boom arm. I also made longer versions in case you need to want the monitor further away from your pole, which is a bit tougher with the weaker materials because it will flex a bit from the weight of your monitor. And then the monitor has a whole bunch of holes. So let's get some light. Yeah, there we go. A whole bunch of holes where you can have it at different heights. Now, you can't like quickly move it from the height. You have to unscrew it to change the heights. And then let's see, I've got some VESA plates, old design of the VESA plate. But the current one will look similar to that old arm designs. But you'll notice that the mount I have here is not a VESA mount. It's actually a slightly different mount. This is the LG Ergo Quick Disconnect Ultra Mount, I think they call it. all their ultra monitors, they're ultra fine, ultra gear, and ultra wide monitors use this mount. And so if you have an LG monitor, that will make it very easy to connect your monitor directly to this without having to use a VESA mount. And I'll show you how to do that right now. I'm gonna take my LG monitor, drop it right in right there, and click. There you go. And it's connected right there. And fantastic. And now I have my desk set up. I'll have to, work on the angle a bit, but now I have my dual monitor set up. There you go. I got that screen there. And then I've got, let's turn my GameCube on, and the GameCube will turn on eventually. It's running through my Mackie mainstream right here, so. Oh, you know what? I forgot to plug in these cables. There we go. Now I've got. Come on, turn on. Well, I don't know. It's not turning on, but I probably have a cable disconnected somewhere. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll be releasing this on Maker World. Link will be in the description. Peace out.